Good morning, everyone. This is Lindsey Huddleston back in the building with another SPS Monday Motivation. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I had one. I was doing a lot of work. The work never stops, but I'm happy to be able to come here this morning. Probably wasn't the most exciting Monday motivation I was working on because it was in relation to something that's tragic that we've experienced. And today's title is When Wynter Leaves Us. When Wynter Leaves Us. Yes, we all experienced a tragedy just recently, a desperate search that led to bad news for the missing 2-year-old Wynter Smith. Despite a reward being offered, and all those things, there was a tragic ending to her life that we all knew about. Her being taken from Lansing. We saw the Amber Alert. I remember when the Amber Alert came on, not thinking too much of it, and of course it having a horrible ending. But it makes me think about the emotional impact that happens. Beautiful young lady, almost doll-like in her look, in her features when you look at her. If you look at her, she looks like the new African-American Barbie doll that's going to be on display. Just a beautiful young lady, beautiful little girl. And it's a tragedy. I can't begin to explain. And as I struggled with the idea of talking about this today, I knew that it was needed and necessary, even though it's not the most exciting thing that we want to experience. But unfortunately, it's a part of the life we live, and we're impacted by that. I want to say good morning to Brother Marshall. Good morning, my brother, and prayers to her family. Prayers indeed, man. I also want to wish you a belated birthday. I don't mean to have a sad note, but this is something that we have to talk about in the sense of how are we as a community going to address that. In some of the research I did, it talked about the larger population need to learn the language of grief. Kevin, I don't want to put you on the spot, brother, but I know you're still managing the loss of your dad. And even though that was, quote unquote, some time ago, I can only imagine it's still, you still have to deal with that. Psychology Today talks about when a parent loses a child and how do people deal with the emotional blow associated with a child loss. It's something that you can imagine a person can never really get over. Kevin says, thank you. And you're right. And he also says, yes, a struggle every day. I mean, these are the real things that we're dealing with. But I want to be positive in the sense of how we can approach that, because another article talked about understanding the complexity of a community when they're grieving, because in this particular case, what took place is that everybody really came out to support trying to find a young lady, trying to see what they can do to help be part of the solution to a positive outcome despite it not being what we want. Good morning, Mother. Speaking of a parent dealing with the grief of losing a child, my mother lost her son, my older brother Sean, older and only brother Sean. I mean, these are things that we walk with and deal with every day, but imagine how traumatizing this is, not just for the family, the people who know it, but for the people who have experienced something like this just as well. So this message is for you all, how we can be a better supporter for you when winter leaves. We talk about when the seasons change. Some of us may not enjoy the cold weather, but there's a emotional experience we have when seasons change. As we enjoy the height of summer right now, some of us will start feeling some kind of way and have some kind of withdrawals as summer gets ready to wrap up. So the analogy is when winter leaves us, the impact it has. Also, some more research done by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, National Institute of Health, the National Library of Medicine, and my research there, it talked about this: the long-term effects of death of a child on the parent's adjustment in midlife. That was one of the articles that was written. It also talked about in that article the traumatic impact of bereavement has been shown to extend to social functionings and family life. I mean, this impacts everything that's going on in a person's world. You can only imagine. My mom says, valid in my heart forever, void in my heart forever. I'm sorry. Yeah, I can only imagine. I think about my brother on a regular basis too. So I can only imagine as a parent, and also too, it's important that individuals who are going through this transition find meaning in life. And that should be facilitated by engaging in rewarding activities such as pursuing satisfying work and participating in community and religious organizations, for example. And ironically, I did listen to Wynter's grandmother who came and talked. Wynter's grandmother spoke at the visual, and there's two things she emphasized. She emphasized her starting a scholarship for Wynter Smith, meaning people can benefit. Although this is regarding a tragedy, there's still some people who can benefit. And she talked about a community accountability. I'm proud of all the people who said, hey, we're here to help. We're going to find her. And though there was one individual who made this a tragic story, look at all the people that were willing to come out. Look at all the people that were willing to spend time looking. Look at all the people that were emotionally available for what's going on. I think that despite us seeing negative things in the world, we have to realize there's so many of us who are ready to contribute. So many of us ready to help. So many of us ready to do things. And I think those are the things that we have to focus on. Yeah, tragedy does happen in life, and there's no way we really could prepare ourselves for it, but we can't let that be what's going to lead us to a negative downturn. We still want to be those positive people contribute to society and what's taking place. Mother says, I find meaning in you and in my grandchildren. Well, I'm appreciative of that. Right there is letting me know that despite me not being able to be part of the immediate solution for what took place with Wynter, that my work can be an inspiration to others. And that's my whole point. That we have to look at what we do as individuals, and sometimes it doesn't get acknowledged, sometimes it's not held in high regard, but what we do as individuals to help others is the way we can continue to have a positive impact on this world despite Wynter leaving us. Yeah, the void that comes when Wynter leaves, or when the seasons change, or when this beautiful girl is taken away from our midst. I just want everyone to have a positive outlook about what's going on and realize that the grief process is ongoing, whether it's dealing with Wynter Smith family or someone who's experienced that, being a little bit more understanding of what people are going through. If you haven't experienced that type of loss, or if that type of loss hasn't impacted you the way it impacts others, just be mindful of other people and what they're going through. And what my research told me is one term you do not use, one phrase you do not say is, I know how you feel, because you don't. I'm always reminded when death comes, and death is never really welcome at all as it relates to God's children. It's the book of Job. They talked about how he was so afflicted with so many things, and the best things his friends could do is just go sit with him. There's not always going to be words to be used to make the moment better. Sometimes just your presence, your silent presence, just being there is enough for people to know that they have your support, because just as we can enjoy all the great thing that life brings us, one part of life is death. And sometimes it's natural, which we seem to be okay with and better with and dealing with, but sometimes it's an unnatural event with a tragedy, with something horrific that's happened like we experienced. So on this Monday Motivation, I didn't know what this was going to be like, but it was on my heart to stay with this message and do a little bit more research and kind of come talk to you with the hope of uplifting some spirits and giving you something that can help you guys going forward as we go, because every day can't be, the best day, because things do happen that take our minds away from our goals, but we want to be able to get back to that. I also want to thank the SPS partner that has been such a great partner, and that is the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network. What time than now to take advantage of these resources if you're in the Wayne County area, to go to get the support, whether you have the finances to do it or not. They provide support for individuals, for families, for young people, whether you have medical insurance or not. A great resource here. You can download the app by just putting your phone up to the screen. If you're not on your phone as you watch this, or you can screenshot or save it and go back and look at it and download the app and see all these great resources. You can follow us on the social media apps as well. There's some great resources out here, and I'm grateful for D-Win and what we've been doing. And I just want to say, when winter leaves us, the change of season can be traumatic, one way or the other. And losing just a beautiful soul, though many of us did not know her, we just knew of her, can be traumatic. But what we can do is we can continue to stay involved. We can continue to contribute to positive things associated in her name and the name of other people that we've lost, and we can just continue to be a positive person. I'm hoping this Monday Motivation can have a positive impact on those who hear it. I want you to go on and have a great day, great week, great life, great month, and don't let this keep you down, but let this keep you motivated that your greatness is needed in the world to combat the negative things that we see and experience. So with that being said, this is Lindsay Hustle with SPS, and I'll see you guys later. Have a great day, and thanks for your support.